Hey there folks, this is Lucifer LeGivorden coming back at you with another video. I'm just wanting to make this video really quickly to cover a few things and whatnot, so please bear with me. I'm not going to say it, and I'm going to try to keep it short because we know I never do. First off, I was able to find a little something that if you've been a long-time member of the channel, you'll remember from some of my earliest videos. I got asked by a few members and a few friends of mine if I was a Hellraiser fan, and I had to say yes because I actually liked the new Hellraiser movie, and years ago I got this guy. This is my Pinhead Tiki coffee cup. Now, I've got some coffee in here right now, and it's really hot down at the base, so I'm holding him by his ears and neck and whatnot. But wanted to point this out that I've had this for years, and you know who you are, and you were wondering, and yeah, this is the kind of Hellraiser fan I am. So, the other night, we had our High Mass, which went off beautifully. It was our monthly High Mass. It was our normal High Mass. And we ended up getting a few hecklers. Now, first off, Facebook tried to stop me from promoting this, from sending out invites from our STS public page, and I always send out invites from our public page and everything, and I always send out all the messages from our page, so you get, you know, the full STS message that, hey, the event is going on. But Facebook tried to stop me from doing that this time, and they cited security reasons that I could not send out invites and whatnot, and I filed a complaint with them saying, hey, I do this every month and whatnot. There's never been a problem. It has a long track history, not to mention you're interfering with people's religious freedoms and religious rights. I mean, we have a constitutionally protected right to be doing this. So I ended up still managing to get the word out, and thank you all to all of our STS members and the group members and whatnot who spread the word. We had a really good turnout. So good, in fact, we actually had a couple hecklers come in. And fortunately, thank you to our membership, our upper ranking memberships, who were able to catch these hecklers and boot them out of there. We always run security with our videos, where we try to as best as possible, so that anytime something like that happens, we can bounce out the problem children as much as possible. However, there was one individual who showed up and called our ritual tame. And he was like, well, Michael Ford has all this sex and blood and rituals. He has a ritual of the toad or the frog or whatever. First off, Michael Ford is not a Satanist. He's a Luciferian. He's an American Luciferian, which there is actually apparently a huge difference between American Luciferianism as dictated by Michael Ford and traditional classic Luciferianism, which is dictated by Fraternity Saturna or whatnot, which there are several hermetic groups over in Europe, especially in Belgium, France, and the Germanic Norse countries like Germany, Amsterdam, so on and so forth, that have these long-standing Luciferian traditions that go back hundreds of years. American Luciferianism takes some of the scraps that have leaked out about from these older Luciferian orders, and Michael Ford got a hold of them and formulated his own version of Luciferianism mixed in with a lot of Anton LaVey. So, in a weird way, you could say Michael Ford's Luciferianism is a derivative of LaVey, but also a derivative of classical Luciferianism, but it's not actually classical Luciferianism itself. Now, before I get all the hate commenters down in the comments section down below, I'm not saying that it's a bad system. I'm just saying it's an Americanized system, and it's not the traditional classical Luciferianism. It is an American Luciferianism, which there's nothing wrong if you want to practice that. If you can follow along with Michael Ford's systems, great, grand, and wonderful, but they're not Satanism. Luciferianism is different from Satanism. It has its own setup, it has its own ways of doing things, and Satanists have their own ways of doing things. Now, when we do our live high mass events, we're on Facebook. We do have actually more advanced rituals that are a bit more gratuitous, that it definitely involves sex, and we definitely make room for orgies and whatnot. We have holidays that celebrate such things, such as Lupercalia, but we're not going to put that on Facebook. We'd get booted off of Facebook, bastard now. It's completely ludicrous. I mean, so for a person to come in and make those sorts of comments that, oh, this isn't what I was expecting, this is so tame. And, well, yeah, it's fucking Facebook. Not to mention, this is a lower level ritual. The High Mass, which is based off of Anton LaVey's basic rituals, is not generally meant to be overtly obscene. Okay, it's just generally a lower level, and yes, one could say tame ritual that one can perform pretty regularly and even publicly. We have more advanced rituals, and one that was pointed out today, and you can find this in the Black Grimoire, is the complete Black Mass, or the Missa Sexualis Solemnis. Now, this is a ritual based on Wayne West's Black Mass ritual, his Missa Solemnis. This is taking it back to what it was before Wayne West edited it up, specifically for LaVey's altar. And there's a whole story on that. Right there is, everybody knows Anton LaVey had a huge big high altar, and it took some effort to climb up there to be a human altar. You needed, if you were a woman, guys would be lifting you up there or whatnot. If you were a guy, you had to sort of climb up a step stool and get a little bit of help to get up there. Well, in the Missa Solemnis, sex is required. In the complete Black Mass, you're supposed to boink the altar maiden. So you're going to have an altar maiden up there, and you're going to have sex with her in the traditional one. Well, that wasn't really possible with LaVey's altar, so Wayne West edited it up where you would masturbate into a silver spoon, and you would mix that with your sacred wine to get some sort of effect of the elixir of life. Now, STS, we take that back because our altars are actually strategically built much lower to the ground. I mean, this is actually vastly lower. Let me see if I can show you. So you can actually see it's actually at waist height for us, where a person can sit on the altar, and specifically for this ritual and a few others, it's at that waist height where the priest can have sex with the altar maiden. Yes, that is actually a thing. I'm not going to sit here and lie about it. It's right in the books and whatnot. And you can get this book on Amazon, on lulu.com. I'll throw links to it down below. And you can read it right there. So there's no point in hiding that. However, we're not going to be doing that on YouTube or on Facebook or whatnot. We would get booted off faster than shit. In Facebook, any live human nudity you could get in serious trouble with. Certain artistic drawings too, they do manage to get away with it, but that's only because the algorithm doesn't catch them. Real full-blown nudity gets caught really quickly by the algorithm on Facebook, and the same goes for YouTube. And one case point example is we have a video up on YouTube. We also have it up on BitChute, and that was our Black Mass from last year, or this year's Black Mass from Walpurgis Nacht of this year, the 2022 Walpurgis Nacht. We had Lady Faust on the altar, tits out, pussy out, everything. And yes, I'm using that sort of language. Her genitalia was showing, and people could see this. And she urinated on a cross, right on camera. And yet we can still have that on YouTube. Why is that? Well, the reason being is we're not having sex with the altar, and it was presented in an educational sort of way, And so we marked it as adults only. We made sure we requested that YouTube mark it as adults. They saw it, they agreed with us, mark it as adults, so it's not in the mainstreams. You've got to sign in to see it, and you've got to come to our channel to find it. You've got to be, sort of a registered follower or subscriber of the channel in order to see this ritual. We have this up on our main website, and we get away with it because it's presented in an educational format. We have 3 versions of the Black Mass: a solitary, a group one which may or may not have a human altar, which is what we performed, and then we have the Missa Solemnis, or the Missa Sexualis Solemnis, also called the Complete Black Mass, or in other settings it's called the Forbidden Mass. Why is it called the Forbidden Mass? Well, it's not forbidden from being seen or whatnot, it's just not appropriate for the public. This is not a ritual that we're going to put out there. It's not meant to be, if you're doing a live event somewhere like in a town hall or a stadium or whatnot, you're not going to do this ritual. It's just too sexually vulgar. You would only perform it in a private setting, and if you posted the video anywhere, you would have to be super careful of where you post it, because you can't just post it on YouTube. You can't post it on Facebook. You might not even be able to post it on BitChute. You'd probably have to post it on something like Pornhub, just because of the content of the ritual. And that's what this person doesn't seem to get, is these rituals, a lot of Satanists, they like to use blood. A lot of demonolators like to use blood in their rituals. Well, Facebook, YouTube, and a lot of other streaming services have a problem with blood. What they also have a major problem with is nudity. Okay, human nudity. Now, we don't have a problem with it, being occultists, being witches and whatnot. Wiccans don't have a problem with nudity. They go sky-clad if you're in a full-blown traditional Wiccan coven. And so we end up having to figure out, okay, where is this sort of video appropriate and where is it not? Well, the easiest way to do that is to just not go there. So for our most basic monthly rituals that we stream live on Facebook, we don't have any nudity in it. We try not to go super vulgar with it. We try to keep it tamed down as much as possible so it will be palatable for the general public. Now, that being said, if we wanted to, we have the rituals that we can go much farther. But also stating that, it should also be noted that to hurt an animal in sacrifice. This guy was talking about Michael Ford has sacrifices and all this other stuff in his things. Excuse me. There are religions that still do commit animal sacrifices. There are dangerous religious groups that still commit human sacrifices. STS is not one of them. We are LeVeans. We are theistic LeVeans. It doesn't matter if you're theistic or not. If you're a LeVean, you're following the base principles set down by Anton LaVey. And in the 11 Rules of the Earth, it makes it quite clear that you will not hurt children, and you will not hurt non-human animals. Okay? You won't even hurt a normal person just for the sake of ritual, because that's just morbid and obscene. The only time we're allowed to harm an animal is if we're hunting for food, to put food on our tables, or if we're being attacked by that animal. Now, in my book, The Satanic Testament, I actually outline a safe, sane way to commit an animal sacrifice, because you're not going to let that animal's death go to waste. But I also make sure that people understood what sacrifice was. You don't need to spill blood to perform a sacrifice. A sacrifice is something that you do or you give up in order to attain something else. It's something that is precious to you, that means something, it has importance to you, that if you, by the losing of it, you would garner something in favor in return. Now, sacrifices are done every day by various people, and I've had to perform various types of sacrifices in my life over the years. Some of them have paid off, some of them haven't. And, a sacrifice could simply be coming to a compromise with somebody to attain some money. Okay? It's not necessarily talking about gutting a person or killing a person or hurting anyone. It's just, you see it in certain movies where, like cheerleaders, they'll take off their favorite bra underneath their shirt and in a bonfire burn it just so they can have some luck at a big cheer event or whatnot. Yes, one of my secret pleasures is I actually like watching professional cheerleading and even the Bring It On movies. I'll admit that. It's a guilty pleasure. So I have a little bit of insight into that, which is kind of weird. But that's actually a good example right there of what a true sacrifice is. It's something that you value, something that means a lot. You hold it dear to your heart. And in return of getting something important, you're willing to give it up. That's a sacrifice. If you want to commit blood sacrifices in rituals, well, use your own blood. We have enough blood in our veins. Let's see how much blood you're willing to shed of your own self in order to attain something if you want to use blood magic. Most people will tell you all it takes is a little pinprick on the finger, and that's about all that they're willing to do. Well, I'm going to say this to anybody out there, and I know I have members in my organization that feel that blood is a necessary thing. I've spoken to them, they've expressed it to me personally, and I'm like, you do that on your own time, you don't do that on STS time. STS doesn't really do blood rituals. We understand blood magic, we have the ability to do it, it is allowed underneath certain circumstances, but it's not something that we do, generally speaking, because we feel that that is like taking a cannon to a fly. So if we're doing something involving blood, you know that somebody has seriously crossed the line with us and we are doing some serious mojo. More often than not, in Satanism, we find that sexual energy personal, drummed up high emotions is just as effective, if not much more effective in most cases, which is why you see most of our rituals being elaborate psychodramas, where we can drum up the personal energy and put it out there. So what I'm saying is, do your research before you make a stupid comment in one of our ritual groups, like, oh, this is tame. Well, it may be tame to you, but you're not paying attention to what we're doing in the overall. How many organizations do you see that perform monthly high mass rituals, monthly rituals where people actually get in via a group online over a screen and participating, talking in the comments? It's just like being here in person, only you're in the comfort of your own home or wherever you're at, and you're watching it right there. So, in that essence, we're drumming up a much wider array of energy, and we're focusing that energy on specific things, and it has an effect. And it really does have an effect. So that's where I'm going to leave that right there. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Before I go anywhere, one last thing I'm going to want to put out there. We've hit our 600 members, our subscriber mark. I know I'm over that. It was a while back that we hit 600 subscribers. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody out there who has become a subscriber here on my channel, and thank you for the support. Let's try to hit 1,000 subscribers. Let's go for that. Please share my videos if you like them, and comment down below. But one thing I wanted to mention is that everybody loves the Black Grimoire. It is a fabulous book that puts together a whole bunch of rituals in a very clean, clear-cut format. Well, this book is about to get an update. Not so much an update, it's about to get a sibling. And we're coming out on the 20th of this month, just in a few days, is the Red Grimoire. The fourth book in the STS library canon, or canon library of books that I put out. And this new book is just the same size of this, but it focuses on a few different things. You're going to find some amazing rituals in it, but what you're also going to find is the Word of Satan, which is actually the Word of Set, retooled to how it was supposed to be before Aquino left to create the Temple of Set. He was working on this, and it was actually complete. He retooled it after he left the Church of Satan to be for the Temple of Set, and he called it the Word of Set. But originally it was intended to be put into the Satanic Bible, a revised version of it. So the Red Grimoire actually has the Word of Satan, which is the original version of that, in there. It also has a complete outline and description of the Black Zodiac. A lot of people don't quite realize that Satanists and the left-hand path in general touch base on a different type of zodiac. People who aren't in our community touch base on this weird black zodiac. Like with me, I was born a Leo. I was born in August, but in the black zodiac, I'm a war maiden. Now, I've never really felt like a Leo. I've never really acted or behaved as a Leo acts and behaves. But when I read up on the War Maiden and I deciphered, I was like, well, shit, this is me right here. And so this Black Zodiac is described in the Red Grimoire, and it's one of the new things that we have coming out. And it's coming out on the 20th of this month. And it's initially only going to be available on Lulu.com. And it will eventually be going out onto Amazon. So when it comes out, check it out, buy it, and tell me what you think of it. So, yeah, that's everything that I got to say to you tonight. I want to say thank you all for joining me. You all have a good evening, and don't forget, hit that like button, share this video, and if you feel so inclined, subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comments down below, and until next time, hail Satan, hail thyself, and I'm out of here.